Hello, mathematicians. I'm back for another episode of Multiplying Rational Numbers. If you remember last time, we talked about how do you multiply integers? How do you know if it's going to be a pile or a whole at the end? And we came up with this rule here. If you multiply two numbers together and they're the same sign, it's always going to be a positive. It's going to be piles. If you multiply two numbers and they're different signs, it's always going to be wholes. Okay, so let's see if we can apply this to fractions and decimals. And we're going to start with something very exciting, multiplying a whole number times a fraction. So I'm going to start with 6 times 2/3. Well, I have a whole number, I have a fraction. They're both positive. I have 6 piles, 2/3 of 6 piles. Ooh, that's kind of tough. I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm going to reverse this, and I'm going to say it's 2/3 of a pile times 6 of them, because I can commute. If you remember commutative property, commutative. Wow, it's hard to write with this slate. Commutative property. So I'm going to say there are 2/3 of a pile. I start with 2/3 of the pile, but I have 6 of them, 6 groups of them. So I'm just going to go, oh, look at this. It's addition. Oh, multiplication is repeated addition? No way. That's so cool. Here we go. Let's see. How many do I have? I think I need one more. 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. I add all these together. Remember, when you add fractions with like denominators, the denominator stays the same. I keep it, and I just add the numerators. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I have 12 thirds piles. Well, I can simplify that because 3 goes into 12 4 times. Whoa, that's crazy. I have a smaller number than the 6 I started with? Well, of course you do, silly, because 2/3 is smaller than 1. Oh, funny, 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 funny. So, what if I don't want to do repeat addition because this is long? Let me show you a trick. We turn this into a fraction. Remember, you can write any whole number as a fraction by making the denominator 1. So 6/1 is the same as 6. I keep the fraction 2/3, and now I multiply straight across. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. I am left with the exact same solution that I had before. Pretty cool. All right, whole number by a fraction. Just change the whole number to a fraction by putting a 1 as the denominator. Multiply straight across. Well, let's see what happens when you have a whole number like, let's say, the opposite of 2. I need a different pen for the opposite of 2. We'll go with that. So let's go with the opposite of 2 times 3 and 1/5. Uh-oh, mixed number. Opposite numbers or negative numbers. What am I going to do? Well, first, I'm saying we have 2 wholes, like the opposite of 2 piles, 2 wholes, and we want 3 groups of them and a fifth of a group of 2. Oh, let's see if I can just work that out. I know that multiplication is repeated addition, so what if I just repeated the addition? And that leaves me, ooh, I forgot my opposite sign. The opposite of 2, whoa, where are you, opposite sign? There you go. Opposite of 2 plus opposite of 2 plus opposite of 2 is the opposite of 6. What do I do about the 1/5 of 2? That is tough. Well, I could break 2 into 5 parts and see how much it was, or I could use a little bit of math. And I could take -2/1, which is 2, and I could multiply it by my fraction, 1/5, and that gives me -6 whole still plus -2/5. Whoa, well, they're both opposites. I can combine those, and I have the opposite of 6 2/5 wholes. Or sorry, the opposite of 6 2/5 piles, which are wholes. And there's my solution. But again, I don't know if I want to do that whole repeated addition thing. It kind of drives me crazy. So let's see if we can find another way to do it. Way number 2, I take my -2. I split my mixed number into 3 plus 1/5. Use the distributive property a little bit. Do -2 times 3. Or excuse me, the opposite of 2 times 3, which is 6. Plus the opposite of 2 times 1/5, which is the opposite of 2/5. Ooh, look at me for getting that little opposite sign there. And again, I get the opposite of 6 and 2/5. It's a lot of holes. I hope I don't step in one, or 2/5 of one. Now let's see if we can do it a different way. For some of you that don't like the distributive property, you don't like repeated addition, what if I take my opposite of 2 and I change this mixed number into an improper fraction by multiplying? 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16/5. Look at that. Way number 3. There's always a way. Now I multiply straight across, and I get -2 times 16 is the opposite of 32/5. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 5, and with 2 left over, and I keep my denominator. Lovely. 3 different ways to multiply whole number times mixed number. Gotta love it. Let's take a little break. Ooh, sorry about that.